In this video, I'm just going to quickly show you how you can use a curve in Unreal and why you'd want to use things like this. I'm building a day-night cycle, and as the sun moves around the planet, I want the intensity of the sun to change. I want it to be at its peak when it's at the top, right up at 12 o'clock midday, and at its minimum when it's at the bottom. And a good way to do that is with a curve. So what you can do is you can read the time along the x-axis and get an intensity from the y-axis, and you can put your own custom data in for how you want that to work. So in your content browser, you want to go to miscellaneous curve, and you just want to select a type. I'm going to roll with a float because I want a float output. So just give it a name. I'm going to call mine light intensity day night or something like that. And if you crack that open, you're presented with this thing, and now I need to remember how to use it because I'm doing this on the fly. If we add a key at can I adjust the time in here automatically? What if I double click here? Here we go, up here. So I'm assuming that's an X and a Y. So if we go time at 0 and value on the Y, so if it's midnight, I want the intensity to be 0. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. And you can scroll in and out using your mouse wheel. Now if I right click and add another key, I might put this one at 12 o'clock, which will be midday, and the intensity of that I'm going to make 1. And it's a good thing when you're doing curves to use values between 0 and 1. So then what you can do later in your blueprint is you can use that value to interpolate between whatever range you want, rather than having a separate curve with a separate max and min for every single instance that you want to use it for. If that doesn't make sense, I'll explain that, or I'll demonstrate that later. But let me just add in one more curve at time 24, value 0. Okay, so that's how my curve's going to look. And I believe you can make these fancy. Like if I set that to user, yeah, I can curve that a bit, you know. I don't really like that actually. I kind of just want it like that. Anyway, save that. Now, inside of my blueprint, my sky blueprint, this is where I'm just going to be setting this. So this is firing every tick, okay? Every tick it's updating the time of day, and then I'm going to set the intensity of my directional light. So the way that you'd use this, I think it's called like get value from curve or something. I wish I could remember what it's called. That's awkward as. Hang on. Evaluate curve data table row. No. What if I drag off of this? Evaluate curve. No. Actually, I think it needs to be a variable. So what I might do is I might create a variable down here and just call this day-night intensity curve. Yeah, I think this is how you do it. So then in here, yeah, curve float, that's the type because I made mine a float type. Now if I compile and save that, I should be able to set the actual curve down here. Day-night intensity curve, okay. And then if I drag that into here and say get float value, here we go. We're getting there. Now this is where you input your time. So this is your x-axis value. So if this is 0 for me, it's going to return a value of 0. If it's 12 for me, it's going to return a value of 1. Okay. And the reason that you want to do it like that, between 0 and 1 as the output range, is because then you can plug that into an alpha of a lerp node. And if this is 1, it'll return B, which I want to be, I don't know, maybe 10. And if it's 0, I just want it to return maybe 0.5 for minimum lighting. So 0 returns A, 1 returns B. So now you can set your min and max there. Now if I plug that in like that, I have no idea if this is going to work, but let's fingers crossed. Alright, I'm in my game. Where's my sun? Alright, it's looking pretty intense. The game's looking pretty hectic. And now what's going to happen as the sun sets? Does that look like it's getting less intense to you? Looks like it's getting less intense to me, perhaps. God, those fucking God rays need to go though. You know what, I reckon that's working. Still though, I need to get rid of the rays. But see that they're getting less intense as it approaches the bottom? I should probably just turn that sound down. And yeah, you can still see the God rays a little bit, but it's mostly gone. And we're left with a dark scene, and now it's coming up the other side. Yeah. That actually looks pretty epic, doesn't it? Not gonna lie. Yeah, so that's how you can use curves for things. Hope that was helpful.